Okay, stop. No, don't write. Okay, how many you got?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
Count,
7,
count.
8, 9.
Keep it.
I cannot hear myself counting.
30.
30,
19.
19.
24. 19.
So you know it's not 11, 10, right? So all of you underestimate yourself. Don't do that. Now, I did not tell you how much time I am going to give you, right? I will give more time. Instead of giving more time, what we will do is, you got
30.
maximum. So she will read. You will have to tick if you have this.
Wait, you're
So while reading,
the apostrophe.
tell the spell, tell the word, spell it, tell it once again. So that they get sufficient time to tick. Wait, fast.
1 letter words. A, I. 2
Yeah.
letter words. At, A-T.
No, you don't have. You can
Yeah.
add.
In,
Yeah.
So you can add. Yeah.
In, I-O-N.
Wait,
On,
I-O?
I-N.
I-N, in.
On, O-N. An, A-N. 3 letter words.
Did you have 2? T-O?
Did you have no?
You can add.
So if we have what she says, we tick it.
3 letter words.
You can use this option of telling extra what you have later. First finish ticks.
Okay. 3 letter word. Act. A-C-T. Cat. C-A-T. Tin. T-I-N. Ton. T-O-N. Tan. T-A-N. Ten. T-E-N. Den. D-E-N. Ion. I-O-N. Nat. N-A-T. Can. C-A-N. One. O-N-E. Not. N-O-T. Tack. T-A-C. Ted. T-E-D. Tad. T-A-D. Eon. E-O-N. Net. N-E-T.
Wait, is TED a word?
It's a
I
name.
didn't think tag was.
It's a name.
I forgot.
T
how to
did
put
TED.
it.
TED is a famous
TED.
activity in the world.
Ted.
TED lectures.
Ted speaks.
I thought of TED, but I didn't
TED
think
lectures.
it counted.
I
so
thought about
didn't put it
tack,
down.
but I thought it had to have a K
Yeah,
at the
next.
end of it.
Okay.
Yeah, so I didn't put that in.
4 letter words. D. Done. D-O-N-E. Cent. C-E-N-T. Dent. D-E-N-T. Dine. D-I-N-E. Can't. C-A-N apostrophe T. Don't. D-O-N apostrophe T.
Finished? Yeah. You have extra something with you?
I have a 7 letter of caution.
Yeah.
And then for 3 letter words, I have
Spell it so that others can write.
I have do, D-U-E, 8, A-T-E, and then I don't know if this is a word, but I have dat, D-A-T.
Yeah.
Okay. And then for 4 letter words, I have
D-A?
D-A-T.
Dat. What is dat?
Ted's saying over there.
It's more slang.
It's a slang.
Yeah.
Like instead of that,
It's
it's
dat.
Okay.
And then for 4 letter
Technically,
words,
oh wait, dot. I just thought of that.
So because if you look at Shakespeare's book, Shakespearean language, they use different spelling for different things. That's also considered as one language.
Shakespearean.
Shakespearean language.
mm,
Only Shakespeare uses. You know why?
Because
Shakespeare never
You
wrote.
never went to school.
Shakespeare never wrote anything. He was only acting on the stage, and people who used to sit, they used to write. So whatever the pronunciation, they wrote as it is. Yeah.
And then for 4 letters, I have duct, D-U-C-T. And I have date, D-A-T-E. And I have dent, D-E-T. Oh, and then I have Nate, N-A-T-E.
N-E-A-T is not the?
N-A-T-E.
Not N-E-A-T?
N-A-T, neat. Oh,
That's neat.
That has to be there for you, okay?
yeah.
For everyone. Yeah.
Anyone else?
I had cut,
Hmm?
C-U-T, for 3-letter words.
Hmm.
And then I also had cot, C-O-T, like the bed. And then for 5-letter words, I had cat ion, which is C-A-T-I-O-N. And
Canada? Oh.
yeah.
Like, gosh.
And then for 4-letter words, I had Nate as a name, N-A-T-E. I had Cade, C-A-D-E. I had Note, N-O-T-E. I had Dote, D-O-T-E. I had Code, D-C-O-D-E. And I had Done, I think. Or that might have been. Yeah,
Nate.
Done.
I said Nate.
I had
I didn't. So like there.
I had a 4-letter word, dunce, D-U-N-C-E.
Pretty sure that's 5.
Oh, that's what I meant. Sorry. I have it in some
Hmm?
D-U-N-C-E.
Not D-A-N-C-E?
Oh, I didn't think of that. Dance too.
Don't you have 10? Anybody else wrote 10?
I had 10.
T-A.
No, I had that.
Den?
Yes.
Now how many will be there?
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8,
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7,
8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24.
Do you know how many you can make? You can make more than 100.
50.
We do this. You can't even imagine. A lot of words which you know, which you are not using will come out when you keep doing it. Very close to education, there is another word, teacher. Plenty of them. Do it at home. And then come back tomorrow. Okay? T-E-A-C-H-E-R. Teacher. Now all of you would have got same, no?
Oh, yeah.
So above 50. You can make it 100. Another word, another page. Teacher. T-E-A-C-H-E-R. Do you know where this is useful in your SAT?
Word.
Essay.
Lot of words you require. Then only you can crack. Which has to come at the right time. Many places it is used. So one activity which you can do is this. There are many, plenty like this. We'll come one by one. We'll do it. Did you tell the calendar to your parents yesterday? 12 numbers? Forgot. You didn't play? Didn't tell your sister?
Calendar?
Yeah, she forgot. She is in some other world. You were not here yesterday?
And the birthday.
Oh, the birthday numbers.
Finished.
Yeah, I didn't.
Hmm?
It didn't. Oh, we're supposed to do it now or later.
Do it later.
Okay, now pick up something from the book. You do it later, not now. Do it at home, and then tomorrow we'll see.
We're going to. What do you guys want to do?
So are we doing English today? I think we did English synthesis last time. I don't remember.
What is I know etc. is a phrase. What is cetra? Just cetra.
What is that? Ask.
Huh?
Ask. Hey Google.
I think it's
To tell you.
Google. What does cetra mean?
According to Wikipedia, etc., abbreviated to etc., and C, or in C, is a Latin expression that is used in English to mean and other similar things, or, and so forth. To read more, look for the link in your Google Home app.
So what's it?
But I need to know what cetera is, not just.
Well, et is and, so I'd assume that cetera is probably
So
other
forth.
similar things or and so forth.
See, when you say something, assume you say the sources of water in this world. River, then lake, ocean. We say etc. Don't we say?
And
Similar to that, is it?
I know what it meant, I just didn't know what cetra specifically.
et means and, so then cetera just means
That's a French
and
word,
so
no?
forth.
I
Yeah,
thought it was
it comes.
Latin.
Et is also a French word. Like a
And when you say
and.
today's class, Sanjana was there, Radhika, Sanjana, then
Ramya,
Ramya,
Nitisha.
Ritisha. When I write, I don't have to write all names. What do I write?
Let's do
Ritisha, Ramya, et al. You heard this? Et dot al dot. You see?
and
Et dot al dot et al. For items, objects we use etc. For people, et al. Yeah. Which chapter you want?
Okay, so we did reading synthesis last time. Do you want to do reading? Do you want to continue the reading portion, or do you want to do writing? Or maybe some grammar?
Yeah, take something, whichever you want.
Writing and language, sir. What?
Take something.
Do you have any preferences? Okay. Reading information and ideas.
Read.
Okay. Reading information and ideas. Questions on the reading test can be sorted into three categories: information and ideas, rhetoric, and synthesis.
Okay, wait. What is the difference between information and ideas?
Ideas are more like theories, while information is hardcore facts that have been proven.
Idea?
Theories.
Stuff you make up in your head.
You make?
You make up in your head. I have an idea about this.
Yeah.
Means you have.
You are not sure.
You're not sure.
Information is, you have information that there is a small pond in this river stone
So you know.
colony, you know. Idea is,
You're not sure.
you are not sure.
It could work, but it probably couldn't.
Yeah.
So
And what you propose is an idea. That's another idea. I have an idea which I want to share. I have an idea which I want to do it tomorrow. For which I may collect a lot of informations. So information is like a data collection. Idea is what you think, what you can do with the data, or a data which you think it's available.
So from information, ideas come.
In Indian Bharatiya Shastram, the god of ideas is Brahma. God of creativity is Brahma. You know Brahma, there is a god Brahma?
Yeah.
Vishnu, Shiva and Brahma. So Brahma is god of creativity. And his wife is Saraswati. God of education. Education is information. So where you have information, education, you will start thinking. You will get idea only when you have an idea. There is a pond in Riverstone because in many apartments around, so you have information, you have knowledge. That is why you are guessing. Correct? So if you have knowledge, you have how information becomes knowledge?
If it's proven, right?
Information does become knowledge because.
What is the difference between information and knowledge?
Information.
Knowledge is something you already know, but information is something you learn newly. It can be obvious.
What is available in the world is called the data. Data, when you analyze, that becomes information. Information, when you make it yours. Got it? How do you make it yours? You learn. When you learn, that becomes knowledge. And knowledge, when you apply with your wisdom, or maybe apply or add value, it becomes wisdom. And wisdom, when you apply different situations, it becomes experience. You got it? You see, this is the structure which I mean. Then you will become a real social being. You will become a human being. That's why Vivekananda said, education is man-making. What's his quote?
Education is man-making.
Education is
Who
man-making.
said that? Who said that?
Vivekananda. Swami Vivekananda is the one who
I have a book on
got lot of respect from Westerners to India because he came to the next city here. When? This you must learn, okay? All of you. Because Swami Vivekananda came to Chicago for a conference called Where You, if you don't write, you will forget. Keep on writing whatever information I am saying. You are good. But keep writing. So that will remain with you for long years. Swami Vivekananda came to Chicago. I will not tell you the date. It's a very famous date. Everybody knows. And this is a great encouragement for all of you to know, because he never gave a public speech in his whole life before coming to Chicago. He was in Hyderabad before that. There was a small lecture, not a very great lecture, but he came to Chicago, and then what he did, his name was 6th or 7th in the list, 6th I think, 34 speakers, and his name was 6th, and he was a young man. He died quite very young. And then age also you must know. You know the date of birth of Vivekananda, the year which he came. And then what happened? He has seen all the people who were carrying a lot of stuff, notes, and they're all elderly people, and they spoke great. And therefore he felt a little fearful. What he asked, he went and asked the organizer, please postpone my lecture to the evening. In evening also his lecture was given 17th or something after lunch. Again he went and requested, because many more speakers came, they spoke much better. Practically Vivekananda had nothing written in his hand. So he again asked to postpone, but evening 27th or 28th was his talk. I don't remember. And he started talking the brothers and sisters of America. That's how he addressed. And the first time in the whole world somebody addresses. Here how do they address?
citizens.
Citizens or gentlemen. They don't see even citizens. Hello gentlemen,
Ladies and gentlemen.
Ladies and gentlemen, no? That's it. But what Vivekananda wrote, said,
Brothers and
brothers and sisters. That was a big clap. Because for all of them, it's a world religion conference. So all the religious people were there, different religion. And he called all of them as brothers and sisters. And he spoke. And next day newspaper carried only, the main heading was only one man's speech. Swami Vivekananda. So he became the world, the best leader on religion. Could you guess how much time he would have spoke? Guess some number.
2 minutes.
2
minutes.
3 minutes.
5 minutes. 2 minutes.
3 minutes 40 seconds. And he came just for that talk from India. And those days he has to travel by ship. Flights came in 1926. Vivekananda lived much before that. So I am giving you a clue when he came to Chicago. And 50 years before India became independent. Indian independence is 1947. He predicted India is going to get independence after 50 years. So he was a great Swamiji who can predict what's going to happen.
So he came 18.
No, that time he was not here. He predicted during that time. So it's only to give you some time span for you to remember. Fine? And you know how many days he stayed in Chicago and around the US? 1 year.
1 year.
Because people did not leave him. They said, come and stay in our house. Please be with me. And a lot of invitation from many people. And he kept on staying in different places, gave a lot of lectures. So one of the greatest speakers of India is, and his English was fabulous. Though he did not travel this part of the world, he read sufficient enough. He just did his graduation. He went to his Guru Ramakrishna and asked one question. Have you seen God? Ramakrishna said, I myself is the God. And he became a disciple of Ramakrishna. And he created a mutt for Ramakrishna Ashram. Ramakrishna Ashram started by Vivekananda. When he was walking on the street of New York or London, somewhere, the youngsters from America, they were all called hippies those days. Vivekananda have a very specific style of tying turban. He uses always a turban, right? Mm-hmm. Some hippie pulled his turban, thinking that he is a beggar on the street. He turned back and asked, why gentlemen, why are you pulling my turban? From the way he asked, the hippie felt that this man is a great man, yeah. Because from the way you speak, people assess you. That's why I keep saying, speak authoritative, louder, not okay? Specific, louder, with full sound you should speak. So he spoke like that. Then the hippies told him, you doesn't look like a man of great culture. Because here people are assessed based on the dress. His dress was not that stylish with coat, boot, suit and all that, right? So Vivekananda told, in your land, tailor makes a gentleman. Tailor is who? So anybody who can stitch well, they can get a best dress. In our land, in India, culture makes a gentleman. You were asking yesterday what is value, right? That is this value which you should add. Then people say he is an educated man. You may have a lot of information, but you don't know how to speak to people, how to mingle with the people, how to react to situations. That is not called education. Education is what you can use it to public. So there is a lot of difference between information and information. When you have a lot of idea, the way of information you are using will be entirely different. That ability is what an educated person should have. Educated person should have a lot of ideas. You know how to answer, immediate response, good presence of mind. Otherwise you will have data but you don't remember what is there. No? So immediate response. When we used these words, scrambled letters, you are not able to identify. You know the word. Once you got it, oh, this is the word which I know already. But why are you not able to do it?
Because it's in a different
Presence of mind. Quick action. Right? So information is not enough. With a lot of ideas. That's a beautiful paragraph. So if you have good ideas, good information, if you have a lot of vocabulary and good idea, you can present well. You can write good paragraph. Only you have idea but no vocabulary, no information with you. Assume you have to talk about the world population. At least you must know the figures and facts. Information is figures and facts. You must know how much is the population in India, how much is in China, which country is growing faster. Why China and India? World's most populous. So these information you have, then only you can present your ideas. Got it? So most important. Information, ideas. Good.
Information and ideas, the author's message. Information and ideas questions ask you to think carefully about the author's message. To interpret the message, you'll need to consider both what's stated and what's implied in the passage.
What is stated and what is?
By stated, we mean the things that authors mention stated directly and explicitly.
And implied?
the indirect.
First, what isn't directly stated.
Indirectly. Must be very careful. All these are very important. So when you read, if you don't understand this, there will be a lot of questions. No, the questions from the paragraph. Right? Why am I discussing about the population of this world? I may not directly write why, but you must know why. I am concerned about the population. I am concerned about some country's growth based on population. The other day I was speaking the pollution. Pollution in this world. There is a great Prime Minister for us, Manmohan Singh. Previous Prime Minister was Manmohan Singh, with whom I worked in his office. I was there as Deputy Director. When global warming seminar discussions came, America said India is polluting. Then you know what Manmohan Singh said? Take the population of America and how much you are polluting, divide that. So you get per capita pollution. Each individual how much you are polluting.
No.
Do that for India. India is polluting less, America is polluting more, he said. Don't look at the whole country. What you should do? Per capita. It's called per capita. The technical term is per capita. So he could counter America very fast. So you have information that's not good enough. What you should have?
Facts.
Idea. And by which indirectly what Manmohan Singh told, keep quiet. You don't ask me, you don't tell me this, right? Yeah. Good.
Let's examine the specific sorts of questions that make up the information and ideas category and what kinds of skills and knowledge these questions expect of you. Questions in this category are of 6 main types. Reading closely, determining what's stated or implied in a passage and applying what you've learned from it to a new similar situation.
So same thing should be done while reading this paragraph also. We are also learning from this, right? There is something stated, there are some informations given. What you should do? Read closely. Don't close it fast. Read closely. Attach to that. Look at it carefully. Analyze it well. Analyzing itself, there are many methods. How do you learn something? I am sure when I am talking to you, you are not just hearing, you are analyzing. What are the analysis which you have? My pronunciation may be different. So you compare your pronunciation with my pronunciation. Say, this man doesn't know how to pronounce. Don't you do this? You judge a person. You compare. You criticize internally. So analysis involved what all? Criticizing, judging, comparing,
Nothing.
make opinion. Internally you create an opinion. All that is what you do when you closely analyze. When I talked about Vivekananda, what you did? You must have judged him. You are seeing him. That's what is visualization. You create your own ideas about it. Author has got an idea, but you, what you will do? You will create your own idea. That's why it's always said, when I am talking to you, what are you doing? I have some idea, which I am telling you now. But do you think all of you are getting what I want to tell you? No. Each one of you have your own background. Therefore, you perceive ideas. What do you do?
Perceive ideas.
So you have a perceived idea. Mine is what I am posting to you. So a perceiver, you, perceives the way the perceiver want to perceive and not the way the speaker want the perceiver to perceive. You understand? What's that? Tell. The perceiver perceives the way the perceiver want to perceive and not the way the speaker want the perceiver to perceive.
So we don't
So I
analyze
see you
it the
as
way.
not the way you want me to see.
Yeah. So everyone has got their own perception. Right? So when we listen, when you read, you realize it entirely different. That's why when you are reading it, I am not reading, I am not listening the way you are reading and you are listening. I am looking at it very closely. Because I will not leave any paragraph, any action written somewhere just like that. I keep noticing, looking at it, analyzing it, judge it, compare it. And that's how I make it mine. And once I read, it becomes mine. I'll never forget. You want to finish reading, right? Don't do that. Okay? Yeah.
Citing textual evidence. Deciding which part of a passage best supports either the answer to another question or a given conclusion. Determining central idea and themes. Understanding the main points or themes of a passage. Summarizing. Recognizing an effective summary of a passage or of a part of a passage. Understanding relationships.
When you have a passage, you must write a gist. You know the word gist, right? Mm-hmm. Brief, synopsis, abstract, summary. There are many words. Suppose there is one paragraph, you must be able to make one sentence out of it. So if there is one page, you must be able to make 2-3 sentences. Anything which you write. When you see a movie, 2.5 hours, you must be able to write 1 page. You must do that. And you evaluate, saying that out of 10 or out of 5, how much you are going to give grade. And review it. Yeah.
Understanding relationships. Establishing connections such as cause and effect, comparison, contrast, and sequence between people, events, ideas, and the like in a passage. Interpreting words and phrases in context. Figuring out the precise meaning of a particular word or phrase as it's used in a passage. Let's explore each of these types in turn. Reading closely. Reading closely is the most general of the question types on the reading test. It includes a broad range of questions that deal with interpreting what an author has said explicitly or implicitly and applying that information to new context. You may be asked to locate a point or detail in a passage or to reach a supportable conclusion or inference based on what's been stated directly. You may be asked to think about how the information and ideas in the passage could be applied to another analogous case or situation. The questions themselves don't follow an easily recognized pattern, but in each case you'll have to read attentively and consider what the author is trying to say directly or indirectly. There are also often one or more clues within the question that hint at the kind of work you'll have to do. If the question uses according to the passage, states, indicates, or something similar, it is likely that you should look for something said explicitly in the text. On the other hand, if the question uses based on the passage, it can be reasonably inferred, implies, or the like. You'll probably need to interpret the passage to figure out an implicit message. Citing textual evidence. Questions of this type ask you to determine which portion of the passage provides the best textual evidence for the answer to another question or for a conclusion offered in the question itself. Consider this brief excerpt from a speech by Congresswoman Barbara Jordan, who was discussing the nature and seriousness of the impeachment of a president in the U.S. political process.
What is impeachment?
The president gets
They basically fired
the president's put on trial
Well, yeah.
and found guilty of committing a crime while in office.
The impeachment doesn't mean that. Impeachment is a generic word. You always like to put it on to a specific case when I ask question. Yesterday gravity, immediately you said no. Impeachment is a word. You ask what is impeachment? Hey,
What
Google.
is impeachment?
Ask. Hey, Google.
Hey Google.
Hey Google, what is impeachment?
According to Wikipedia, impeachment is the process by which a legislative body levels charges against a government official.
See, it doesn't talk about the president.
Removal of
Anyone.
government.
In India also we have. A justice
By
can be,
which-
judge
can
can
you
be
scroll up on
impeached.
it?
Yeah?
Can you
A
scroll up
legislative
on it?
process. Legislative process is through the governmental process.
By which it got
Legislation.
There was another word in there which I didn't know the meaning of, innocuous. What does that mean?
See, each time I am stopping and asking you questions. Why are you not doing it? Only I don't understand, you all understand everything or what?
And what does
Or you don't
innocuous
require
mean?
any explanation.
What does innocuous mean?
Ask.
Is
See,
it
I am not trying to teach you anything here. I am only giving you the way of learning. You must keep asking yourself. Ask.
Hey Google, what does innocuous mean?
Here's the definition of oculus.
No.
Hey
Around
Google,
or eye like
what does innocuous mean?
Here's the definition of oculus. Around or eye like
Spell it.
opening or design.
Analogous.
Innocuous.
Analogous? It's like an
How-
analogy.
It is
Was it
analogy.
analogous or was it innocuous?
Analogous.
Analogous.
Spell it.
Analogous. A-N-A-L-O-U-G-O-S.
Can I check it?
Analogous means equivalent. One case happens and an equal case happens, we say that it's an analog. No? You can derive whatever happened here, an analogy can be applied here. So it's called an analogous. In mathematics we derive. In law also we say so and so case happened in so and so place. It's similar to that. Yeah.
Information and ideas in the passage could be applied to another analogous case or situation.
So there is something
Wait,
happened.
Was that on the last page? It was on the page before, like which you flipped at.
Yeah, but they might have used it again.
I don't think so. I was listening for it. It was near the end.
Oh, she
'Cause I
finished
wrote
the
it down.
entire thing?
I love to see you stopping in between and asking questions and discuss. Otherwise, the whole purpose is lost.
What does that sound?
No, there's nothing here.
What does that sound like?
Kio.
It's
Yeah.
a hand sanitizer machine.
The what machine?
What machine? I always wanted.
That is spitting the perfume.
Oh, for air freshener. I thought
You
it
can set it for 45 minutes, 15 minutes, 5 minutes. It's an automatic dispenser of spray, room spray.
I always hear in the automatic soap dispenser at my friend's house.
I never heard it. I thought it was like the toy.
Do you want to go check
Hmm?
It's not in here. I've already looked through it.
Okay.
It's analogous. Maybe it was Oculus. You never know. Oh, I just heard it wrong.
You must
Innocuous means.
stop it then and there.
Okay.
We are not in a hurry to finish.
Yeah.
Okay? Because you will see, yesterday we read somewhere, we said, or I don't know whether I picked it up saying something on cause and effect
Yeah.
and told you physics contains that. Today also you heard same cause and effect. Because everywhere it is related, either maths, physics or English, cause and effect. I am writing something, there is a cause and there is an effect. Yeah.
Okay. Consider this brief excerpt from a speech by Congresswoman Barbara Jordan, who was discussing the nature and seriousness of the impeachment of a president in the U.S. political process.
So what are you going to do now while listening? You are going to make a platform in which you have a lot of people. They will mention people. So you must say, oh, these are the people. And this is the stage, plot. Like a cinema. You must visualize the speech. And say that the people are involved, place is involved, facts will come. Right? Categorize and write, and you must be able to explain it by yourself. You are going to read a paragraph?
Yeah.
Got it?
The
So it's your task. That is possible only when you keep writing. Right? Don't miss anything.
So we're supposed to write down.
If you want. Otherwise you can sit here, enjoy and go. The purpose is learning, you must do this.
The sentence.
And don't do it here. When you read at home also do it. Yeah.
The sentences that are the focus for the first two paired questions have been highlighted here for convenience, but they wouldn't be if this was a real test. The full pattern is ... The North Carolina Ratification Convention. Quote, no one need be afraid that officers who commit oppression will pass with immunity. Unquote.
What did it say? Averages? What?
The averages are the averages.
Officers?
Oh,
Oh,
they said averages. I was like, what?
Read once again.
Quote, prosecution...
Okay, let me ask you one thing. What is it all about?
It has
It's
to do with
about
the
the-
North Carolina Ratification Convention.
Impeachment of
The president.
who? Which president?
The United States
Who?
president. Bill Clinton?
It didn't say.
It's
It
just
didn't say. Just
the seriousness of impeaching a president and its effect on the U.S.
No, I had this question, right? You understood what I'm saying? I have few questions. Before I read itself, I have question. Do you have questions with you? If you don't have question, you don't have quest. If you don't have quest, you will not take it serious. So what is required is form a question in you when you see the heading. When you talk about something, impeachment, immediately what you will ask?
Who's good?
Who, when, where, how, why. WWWWH, anything you want, you can ask. So while reading, this question should come. And that's what you're trying to answer. Yeah.
Quote, prosecutions of impeachments will seldom fail to agitate the passions of the whole community. Unquote, said Hamilton in the Federalist Papers, number 65. Quote, we divide into parties more or less friendly or inimical to the accused. What is inimical? Hey Google, what does inimical mean?
I don't think I just heard what you said. Hey Google, what does... Yeah.
Here's the definition of inimical: tending to obstruct or harm.
We divide into parties more or less friendly or inimical to the accused. Unquote. I do not mean political parties in that sense. The drawing of political lines goes to the motivation behind impeachment. But impeachment must proceed within the confines of the constitutional term, quote, high crimes and misdemeanors, unquote. Of the impeachment process, it was Woodrow Wilson who said that, quote, nothing short of the grossest offenses against the plain law of the land will suffice to give them speed and effectiveness. Indignation so great as to overgrow party interest may secure a conviction, but nothing else can. Unquote. Hey Google, what does indignation mean?
Here's the definition of indignation: anger or annoyance provoked by what is perceived as unfair treatment.
Okay. Adapted from a
Can
speech
you
delivered
wait just
from...
a second? Just a sec, sorry, I have to write it down. Yeah, you can go ahead.
Adapted from a speech delivered by Congresswoman Barbara Jordan of Texas on July 25th, 1974.
Now, what did I say? When I read, what do I look for?
What-
When it happened, where it happened. Are you not getting those answers? If it is not there, the paragraph is useless. So if you have this question before reading, or anything when you read, ask this question. Where, when, how, why, what for, what is the cause, what is the effect. And segregate them like that. Then you can retell the whole story in your own words.
As a member of the Judiciary Committee of the United States House of Representatives. In lines 46 to 50, prosecutions sent, what is the most likely reason Jordan draws a distinction between two types of, quote, parties? A, to counter the suggestion that impeachment is or should be about partisan politics. B, to disagree with Hamilton's claim that impeachment proceedings excite passions. C, to contend that Hamilton was too timid in his support for the concept of impeachment. Or D, to argue that impeachment cases are decided more on the basis of politics than justice.
What was A?
To counter the suggestion that impeachment is or should be about partisan politics.
Partisan politics?
What was the D?
Hey Google,
To argue that
What does
impeachment
partisan mean?
cases, partisan is
Here's the definition of partisan:
party.
a
You
strong
favor
supporter of a
one
party, cause, or person.
in favor of party over another. Like I'm partisan to the Democrat Party. Anyways, D is to argue that impeachment cases are decided more on the basis of politics than on justice.
Done?
Do you want me to read the answer?
Done with the paragraph?
yeah.
Okay, tell me what are the facts you got?
It was on July 5th, 25th.
Hmm?
The case was on
When?
July.
When?
Yeah,
When?
July 25th.
Which year?
I didn't catch the year.
See, I have this question. Do you have this question I am asking? If you don't have this question, that means you are not reading it very serious. When was it?
1974. 2039,
25 years back.
The Who's Barbara Johnson.
Hmm?
The Who is Barbara Johnson.
Is it 25 years back or 35 years back
Yeah,
or 45
Barbara and
years back?
Hamilton. I heard those two.
1974, so 26 to 2000 plus another.
So when I said 25 years back, okay.
No, it's like 30.
1974 is how many years back?
35 years back.
Is it 35?
Plus 26 plus 19.
Wait,
45.
it was
I can
1917.
Hmm?
It was 1917, then 18.
1974.
Oh, 74, not 17. Okay. 74.
45.
45 years back. So don't immediately accept. Okay, check. Always there has to be a check.
She was a congresswoman and member of the Judiciary Committee in the House of Representatives.
What is House of Representatives?
It's one of the Congress houses that's based on state population. So states get representation based on
Which are the parties
districts.
which generally contest in America?
Republican and Democratic.
So who is that party fellow who got impeached, and who is he said it's not on the merit but on politics, right? So who is opposing whom in that case?
Don't know.
Yeah, so many questions. You may not know the answer. I am not looking for answers, but do you have such questions is what I am asking. Got it? So when a paragraph comes, what you should do?
Have questions.
Questions. Lot of questions should come. So write down few questions first. Now I asked you few questions, right? And what you should do is discuss those questions. With that question in mind, reread the paragraph.
Oh, I got the entire paragraph. This is the passage on the practice questions.
But you don't have to read it now. What I am saying is, from the brief, that's a gist given to you.
Tisha, what
Okay.
page is that on?
The passage is adapted.
What page is that on?
What the actual
The
thing?
passage, no.
76 to 77.
Thanks.
This passage is adapted from a speech delivered by Congresswoman Barbara Jordan of Texas on July 25, 1974. She was a member of the Judiciary Committee of the United States House of Representatives. In the passage, Jordan discusses how and when a United States president may be impeached or charged with serious offenses while in office. Jordan's speech was delivered in the context of impeachment hearings against then-President Richard M. Nixon. Watergate. Watergate.
No, it's. I keep saying, the paper reporters, they come for some programs and then make a nice story tomorrow morning in the newspaper. When I used to go to different places, they write next day beautiful heading and few paragraphs. I used to wonder how this man knows different subjects. He may be listening to politicians, he may be listening to scientists, he may be listening to different people, and next day he knows how to write exactly with a beautiful heading. So I keep quoting, the best person who can capture things and write perfectly well, paper reporters. Many students will say that, no, I want to be paper reporter, I want to go into news reporting and all that. These are all the starting point for that. Listen to anything, capture it. Seeing a movie, capture it. Make your own notes. Read a book, make a note out of it. Without making notes, don't finish your job. It will help you somewhere, sometime. I've got one MA literature, English literature. After that, they have an exam called the UGC NET exam, University Grants Commission National Eligibility Test. It's almost tougher than this, no? Because it's a post-graduation. To get a job, they must pass the exam. They also have data analysis, mathematics, little bit of this, and comprehension. A lot of things are there. So I was talking like I'm talking to you. She said, I may get a job, may not get a job, but what can I do otherwise? She said she used to read. Said if you're having the habit of reading, keep writing and make blogs. And she made a blog. After a few years, maybe 6 to 7 years, I met her. She must have read maybe hundreds and thousands of books, and all the reviews are written on blog. Internationally, people used to send her books for reviewing them. Probably today her asset in their house will be more than 50 lakhs worth of books. And nothing paid and purchased. All gifts. Got it? So writing is a great skill. I went to Oman as a film reviewer. If you look at Oman Film Festival 2010, you will see I attended that as part of a journalist, because I write reviews on movies.
Film 2010.
Oman Film Festival 2010, yeah. Up to 2010 there was no film festival in Oman. That's the first time they did. You know Amitabh Bachchan, no? Amitabh Bachchan, Sanjay Dutt, Rasul Pokutti, Major Ravi, DrTPS. 5 people invited to Oman Festival. So we were together.
You met Amitabh
Bachchan? He was sitting on the stage and I was interviewed by some TV, Al Jazeera and all that. So we were together. So if you know how to write, you know how to analyze, you can do a lot of things in this world. Best writer. Okay? Very serious goal. Yeah. So read that later, that paragraph, and then make a nice note with a lot of questions. WWH. Yeah.
Do you want me to go over the
Paragraph or you
answer
want to?
choice?
No, we will not look at that.
Okay. You'll see questions like this throughout the reading test, and you should approach each in a similar way, finding the best answer to the first question, and then deciding which part of the passage offers the best support for that answer. It's okay to work on both of these questions at once, and to reconsider your answer to the first question after you read the second. Sometimes looking at the choices in the second question will help you rethink your original answer to the first question. Just don't overthink it, or you'll second guess yourself too much. It's possible that you'll see variations on the above format as well. One sort is when the question itself provides a conclusion instead of the test asking you to come up with it on your own in another question, and asks you which choice provides the best support for it. This is fundamentally the same sort of question as the previous citing textual evidence example, only it's a one-part instead of a two-part question. Determining central ideas and themes. Some questions on the reading test may ask you to figure out what the main points or themes of a passage are. These two concepts are very similar, although many people in the reading test tend to refer to theme instead of main idea when talking about the central message of a literary text. In either case, you're typically looking for an overarching statement that succinctly encapsulates a key point the author is trying to make.
What is encapsulating?
To look over everything. So succinctly encapsulate means very quickly go over everything that's going
It's
to be
like a
discussed.
review or a brief. Okay. Like we said so many words, no? Summary and all that. So, yeah.
Main ideas and themes may be stated explicitly or especially in more challenging passages, only implied.
Yeah. A good writer is one who may not tell you directly. It goes implicit. And there are some paragraphs. The style of paragraph writing, one of the method of paragraph writing is called the reductio absurd method of paragraph writing.
What is it?
Reductio absurd method of paragraph writing.
Reduction absurd method of paragraph writing.
Yeah.
Reduction.
Reductio absurd method of paragraph writing. Now assume, what is my my intention of writing something? When I write, what do I want?
To inform the audience. Persuade the audience.
Yeah. When I speak, what do I want?
Persuade the audience.
To inform, to entertain, or to persuade.
To inform, entertain, persuade.
But what is my first job? Anything what you do, the first job is what?
Hook the audience in. Get an audience.
Get an audience or capture their attention. Now yesterday, Environment Day, generally what will happen? Everybody will say there is a lot of pollution. Right? Assume if I write an article saying that Columbus air is very pure. I am sure everybody will look at it. What is that a different title here? Don't you? Okay? Then what do I say? I say Columbus air was very pure 100 years back. Correct? And then start stating lot of things and say the heading is wrong. So what am I proving? Reducing as absurdity. That's why the word came, reductio absurd method. You understood? Why do I do that? To capture attention.
You don't state the entire thing, so people will click it.
Then people will read.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
So I
then-
say, I had such articles in my childhood when I was reading. Applied mathematics is mathematics which is useful. Applied. It has applications, right? So I remember reading applied mathematics is bad mathematics. So who will read? All the people who have interest in mathematics will read that. And somebody wanted to say mathematics is bad, they will also read, no? Because they got a chance to say mathematics is bad. So what is my aim? I will write a title saying that
Applied mathematics is
bad
bad mathematics.
But the end of the article, what he will do? He will
that
say
the-
mathematics is the best thing in the world. Without that you cannot live. That's one method. You know, every story telling, there is a great, I am teaching Bhagavad Gita now. And the world's best orator, world's best storyteller is Sri Krishna. He keep on saying to Arjuna, I will tell you the topmost secret. What is he saying?
I will tell you the topmost secret.
And all of us are hearing that what top secret he told Arjuna. Right? So is it a secret? Assume that somebody says, I have a secret with you. What you will do?
Listen.
Please tell me. So one method to attract somebody is
Secret.
use the word secret. That's what Krishna did. If you look at the word secret in Rahasyam. Rahasyam is Sanskrit word. Okay. So Rahasyam in Bhagavad Gita, maximum number of times he must have used Rahasyam. Every chapter he says, this is the topmost Rahasyam. This is the top secret thing. And he is telling to everyone. Correct? So you should attract. That's what capturing attention is most important. So one method is reductio absurd method. One is use such words which will attract people. Yeah.
While theme questions tend to be only about a passage as a whole, main idea questions can be about one or more paragraphs or an entire passage. Generally, words such as main idea, main point,
Main
central
theme.
idea, or theme help signal the intent of the question. Because you're looking for the main idea or theme, you'll want to avoid picking an answer that refers to a detail or that fails to capture the entire point the author makes. Summarizing. When you successfully summarize a text, you've conveyed the most important ideas, generally in the order presented, without adding your own interpretation or including minor details. Although the reading test doesn't ask you to create your own summary of a passage or part of a passage, you may be asked to choose which one of 4 options offers the best summary, or perhaps to recognize where a proposed summary falls short, maybe because it's inaccurate in some way or includes extraneous details. These sorts of questions generally use some form of the word summary as a clue to their response. Understanding relationships. Some questions on the reading test may ask you to determine the relationship between people, ideas, events, and the like in passages. These questions tend to fall...
So when you say who, I told you, no? WWWH, one of the word was who. So who will also matter. Who's who? What is the relation between the main person to this person, that person? All that also matters.
These questions tend to fall into one of 3 subtypes. Cause and effect. Understanding how one thing caused another to happen, often signaled by the words such as because and since. Comparison contrast. Understanding how 2 things are similar and...
That because is why. Because this happened. So your question is why this happened. Then you have an answer. Because of this happened. That's a cause and effect. Happy? Finished?
There's another one. Interpreting words and phrases in context. Interpreting words and phrases questions ask you to determine the precise meaning of a particular word or phrase as it's used in a passage. You'll again be offered 4 answer options, one of which most closely matches how the author is using the word or phrase. Remember from our previous discussion of a tense in Chapter 4 that these tested words will often have multiple dictionary definitions, meaning that you can't rely solely on your vocabulary knowledge. Having a broad vocabulary can be helpful, but you'll also have to think about how the word or phrase is being used in a particular case. Although there are some variations, interpreting words and phrases questions typically come in the format of A's used in line X, word or phrase most nearly means, where X is a line in the passage and word or phrase is the tested vocabulary. Often you can try substituting each answer choice into the relevant sentence of the passage to get a better idea of which choice makes the most sense. Note, however, that simply reading the sentence containing the word or phrase isn't always enough. You may need to consider a larger portion of the text, multiple sentences or the surrounding paragraph, or even the passage as a whole to confirm the intended meaning.
So you have one idea, you have another idea, or maybe a central idea, and these paragraphs are all for cementing them together, binding them together, bringing it together. Right? That's the whole purpose. Yeah.
Chapter 6 Recap. Information and ideas questions are at heart questions about the message the author is trying to convey. Questions in this category will ask you to read closely, to cite textual evidence, to determine central ideas and themes, to summarize, to understand relationships, and to interpret words and phrases in context. In some cases, the answer can be found word for word, or nearly so, in the passage, but because the reading test is also a test of your reasoning skills, you'll often have to do much of the work yourself by making supportable inferences and drawing logical conclusions.
Tired?
Huh?
Tired?
No, my words stumble over a lot when I'm reading.
See, when you have a big paragraph, one chapter, so much is told. Now if somebody asks you to explain it in 2 minutes or 20 minutes, you must have stuff with you. You understood? One is brief, one is elaborative. Both you should have ability. Anything which happens, brief. Generally when we write thesis, when we write a book, the whole